Greetings, everyone. Now I want to talk to you today about creativity. Now it seems not just with movies or video games, but also with comic books now, there seems to be a trend where there's a lack of creativity and a need to redo storylines and classic iconic films and whatnot that have already been done. Case in point, in the comic book realm, I show God Loves Man Kills because Marvel has been doing Age of Apocalypse. DC's about to redo Death in the Family for the New 52. And I genuinely want to talk about this. It seems like when you take away a storyline that was very significant or very awesome and then you redo it, chances are that reboot isn't going to always necessarily appeal to the people that have already collected the previous version of that story. Case in point with this picture, even though it's about to go away in probably about another couple of seconds or so. Case in point, God Loves Man Kills. If they redid that today, not only would it significantly destroy what made that story great when Chris Claremont was writing X-Men, but it would also destroy the cultural significance of it. And let me kind of elaborate a little bit. In this book, which of course now it's gone bye-bye, in the book, Chris Claremont talked about the themes of prejudice and racism. Now, if it was redone today, the same core values that he wrote in those books, dealing with prejudice and racism and what have you, would be excommunicated. It wouldn't feel the same. You would have destroyed something that was unique, something that was good, something that was culturally relevant just because you're running out of ideas. I feel with this new Death in the Family thing that it's the same thing. They could re-cripple Batgirl. Jason Todd, even though he's Red Hood, may end up getting killed again, and it wouldn't really make a lot of sense. Or rather, Damian Wayne could be killed and then brought back and end up like Jason Todd. Like, do you see the significance, people, of what I'm saying here? Now, I'll use video games here for an example to further elaborate my point. Take Splatterhouse. Splatterhouse was an arcade game series and even an old-school gaming ported game where, what was it? It was a side-scrolling beat-em-up. You used 2x4s to knock lagoon men against a wall. You hacked things to pieces. It was really damn hard. And it had, ridiculous platforming levels. It was a very fun but frustrating game. Well, then they decided, 2006, 2007, 2008, to reboot the game or do a game that paid homage to it. Many people did not like this, especially the classic game fans. I've played through all three Splatterhouses, or at the very least played enough of them that I feel that, I enjoyed them, as frustrating as they were. And I felt that this reboot, this attempt to try to rehash the franchise was not a bad attempt. It paid loving homage to what the originals did, but then just tried to extenuate it to a new audience. So I'm not saying that all reboots and replans and what have you are a bad idea. But at the same time, when you take classic stuff that has actually been around for ages, even years, that have never been changed, never been altered, never been redone, and then you decide in the modern era, well, we're going to redo this because we run, for all the wrong creative reasons, then of course people are going to get pissed off. If they remade Gone with the Wind, I guarantee you, people would cause riots over it. The old ladies would run out of their nursing homes. There would be chaos in the streets, Metamucil sprayed all over the place. But all joking aside, it seems movies nowadays are all about visual eye candy for these young Jersey Shore inspired men and women to fondle themselves over and make out with each other over. Movies have become a less respected art form in Hollywood now. It seems like all that really needs to be done is just add a few eye-popping visual effects, CG everything, CG the actor's nose, their mustache, their pubic hairs. Everything needs to be CG. Everything needs to visually pop out at the reader. And not just the I don't know why I said reader, but the viewer, Viewer, reader, you get the point of what I'm saying. Instead, what do we get? We get movies that are now going to be based on board games. You can't see it, but I'm pointing at this picture right here in the video. I don't need to elaborate. Enough said. Now, after that dramatic pause, let me continue. When you retake a movie that is classic and iconic, take for example the Harry Hamlin Clash of the Titans. It was a beautiful, iconic movie. Ray Harryhausen created some very great, memorable creatures, and it was a great, fun movie. Now, you look at this piece of shit CG-inspired, wooden Sam Worthington performance movie, and it's not the same. Why? Overusage of CG. More budget into the CG than the actual script. Now, what does this have to do with anything? Now, there are some movies that CG, if done correctly, could work. I don't want this movie to be remade, but I have a feeling that they'll try to remake this at some point, since they're doing The Wizard. Hellboy is another example of a movie that used CG pretty sparingly, but greatly. Halo could do pretty good in CG if done correctly. Mass Effect is another one that CG could be used properly in. Lord of the Rings used CG perfectly to create Middle-earth. The main point of why I'm bringing all this up, the main point of why I'm bitching about this, is because, Hollywood has not only become greedy and cared less about creativity, but they care even less about story, or trying to get the right people that would take these and show such a great love, affection, and consideration for the product. Peter Jackson, great director for the Lord of the Rings series. I felt that I will never ever read the Tolkien books, but I will always look at the movies with a great fondness and a great respect, because even though I don't read the books, I enjoyed the movies, and I enjoyed getting, immersed into the realm of Middle-earth. When I look at, when I play Splatterhouse, I see homages to the original, having played them a little bit. When I read something like God Loves, Man Kills, I don't ever want it to be remade, because it is, to me, culturally significant in talking about, how there's still prejudice and racism. The main point is that, creativity is the mind's eye. It is the thought that we have as human beings. It's the ideas. It's the idea of going into our imagination, that fantasy realm that we had when we were a kid, and just picking all these ideas and imagining ourselves as, space fighter pilots, or, a character like Superman who is omnipotent. Creativity truly is dead in this generation, and it saddens me greatly, as well as many other people. And I really hope someday that people will bring it back to being creative. They said a mind is a terrible thing to waste. And it seems like a lot of these suits and everybody else must be doing a hell of a lot of drugs, because they're letting all the good creative ideas that they can possibly come up with, and their lack of wanting to take a risk, control the industry. It's sad. I'm not saying that everybody is bad. Marvel's doing good with live-action movies, DC's doing good with animation. But I feel that aspiring movie directors, children with active imaginations, everyone that has a dream, a goal, to want to do something, those are the people that need to be inspired. So I'll leave you with this thought. What is creativity to you? And how has it defined your life? For me, creativity is the world of science fiction and fantasy. A world where there are heroes who triumph over evil and bring hope and inspiration to those in need. That's the world that I live in, and that's the creativity that I like to extenuate. Because without creativity, there cannot be hope. Without hope, there cannot be inspiration. Without inspiration, we cannot grow as a species and as individuals. That's my message to the next generation of hopefuls. What's your message? Just a little bit of food for thought for you guys. Have a good day.